This book called me out in a way that I never expected, and honestly, I tried to deny it. I tried to make excuses, but then it hit me. Yeah, it's kind of right. In this video, I'm going to share with you what hit me so hard, hopefully so you don't make the same mistake or you can correct it in your own life. Trust me guys, if you consider yourself to be somewhat of an emotional man, this video is for you. As always, welcome here. My name is Isaac, and this is Men on Mission, where I equip you to lead and love like Jesus. If that's something you're interested in, subscribe because I'm putting out new videos all the time. If you want to go deeper in our community, we're doing weekly video calls. We're going to start them after we hit 50 members. So by the time of this video posting, we might have already hit it, or we might be very close. So join us on Patreon. It's $8 a month that you can join us and become a part of this community. It's a good time, so join us. Now, let's get into the story. So first, I'm going to share with you what I learned from the book and then the 3 realizations that I had about my own life and how that led me to apologizing. The book that I read is called Leadership and Emotional Sabotage by Joe Rigney. And if you guys have seen my 5 books that Christian men need to read, I'll have that linked in the description. But this was one of those books because it hit me so hard. And that's why I want to tell you the story of really what I learned from this book. One of the key elements of this book is talking about sober-mindedness as men and how it is so important. I mean, you look at Titus and you see the main encouragement given to young men is to be sober-minded. So obviously it is important. He gives an overview of the 3 key elements of sober-mindedness. The first element is clarity of mind. He says that our passions are like a thick fog that we have to wade through. Sober-mindedness gives us the ability to see through that fog, to see what's really going on, past the emotions that we're experiencing in the present moment. The second element is stability of soul. Stability of soul. And I like to think about this one as an earthquake. Though what is around you might be shaking and unstable, do you stay steady? Sober-minded people aren't tossed to and fro based on the circumstances around them. They are steady. And the last element is readiness to act. Sober-minded people aren't void of emotions, and yet they can account for them and then take meaningful and purposeful action. So you might be asking yourself at this point, why did this hit you so hard, Isaac? Okay, sober-mindedness, I mean, that's a good thing to think about and talk about. That's great, but why did it hit you so hard? The first reason is that when I looked at my life and how I was responding to situations, every problem felt really, really big. Like I took it on as a significant issue. I think about finances or car issues or house issues or work issues or relationship issues. And every single time something came up, it felt really big. It would overwhelm me. It would consume my thoughts. I would become obsessed about trying to remedy this situation. I wouldn't be able to have fun or take part in what we had going on that day because I was so hyper-focused on remedying this issue that was causing me discomfort, emotional discomfort. To go along with that, the second reason is that I looked at my life and I saw that I was stressed perpetually. I was constantly stressed. And maybe some of you guys can relate to this, but it wasn't that at every moment I was the peak level of stress. It was that at every moment there was a base level of stress that was always lingering there that prevented me from being totally present. The reality is that I was living in fear. Fear that there would be a problem that I couldn't solve. Fear that we would run out of money. Fear that my job wouldn't work out, and so I would need to find another job, and providing for my wife would be in question. Fear that our relationships with those around us would crumble. If I'm honest with myself, it got to the point where I would reconsider getting my wife like flowers or something, even though that was money that was set aside for her, for me to do something nice for her that I set aside. But I would be stressed about finances or money. So then I would feel like I shouldn't spend this. When in reality, no, we were okay. And this was money that I had allotted to do something nice. I allowed that stress, that anxiety to really dictate my decisions and my emotions. There'd be times that I would experience immense joy and days that were really good, but then there would be some sort of trigger that would flip my emotions completely. The third thing that I realized is that because of this, it heavily impacted and affected my ability to show up for my wife and the decisions that I was making. My emotions and fear acted as that fog that I was trying to wade through. I couldn't see things clearly in those moments of triggering or feeling overwhelmed at the situation that I had to deal with. I felt unsteady, like there was an earthquake beneath me at all times, and I was just bracing for impact. If I'm really honest, I was not being a sober-minded man in any shape or form. Sure, I would try to, come through and be a steady emotional force for my wife, but many times I found that she was comforting me more than I was comforting her, and that was something that was really, really challenging to come to terms with. I didn't want to be that kind of man, a moody man, a man that's guided by his emotions, that makes rash decisions in order to solve problems because he's stressed or overwhelmed or anxious. I want to be a man that can act with sober-mindedness and make decisions in the face of difficult situations. So I apologized. This was just a few weeks ago, and I basically told my wife that I'm sorry that I had been really dragging us down emotionally, that there were days that because of my stress, because of my anxiety about work or whatever else is going on, that rubbed off on her, who's not usually a stressed or anxious person, but she felt that. And one of the things that really hit me in the book is that the husband and the man of the home sets the tone for the home. Like what he brings, the spirit that he brings to it, whether that's joy or fear or stress or, gratitude, that's what's going to reverberate throughout the home. I had put our home under a dark cloud because I couldn't deal with the stress inside of me. This reminded me of a verse from Nehemiah 8, verse 10. Then he said to them, "Go your way, eat the fat, and drink the sweet wine, and send portions to everyone who has nothing ready. For this day is holy to our Lord, and do not be grieved, for the joy of the Lord is your strength." I was feeling unable to hold the weight of our family responsibilities and me providing and protecting as a husband. It just felt like too much. Receiving the joy of the Lord, because that is my strength. I was stressed. Of course I'm going to feel weak. Of course I'm going to feel ill-equipped. But finding that joy in the Lord, looking for those things on a daily basis, seeing what God has done for me in eternity, letting that fill me with joy and gratitude and characterize the spirit that I carry, that's so huge. This part of the book really convicted me in just thinking about the type of father and husband that I want to be one day. In particular, a faithful husband and father recognizes the importance of his presence, his time, and his affection. His aim is to be the smile of God to his wife and to his family, to embody for them the gospel of the glory of the happy God. This means a regular diet of tickle fights, wrestling matches, reassuring hugs, intentional conversations, and all of it shot through with the joy of the Lord. So here are 3 things that I'm doing as purposeful action in changing. The first thing is to give my cares to God. This is a lot easier, obviously, easier said than done, but it has to be a rhythm of our life. This is what I've realized over the last 3 weeks or so in making this change and intentionally giving my cares to God. It has helped me so much, because even when there's a trigger or some sort of piece of anxiety or worry or whatever, then I give that to God. I immediately give that to God, and we're in it together. The other piece is to care less. I think there's a book titled "Don't Sweat the Small Stuff. It's all small stuff." And I think there's some real truth to that. Yeah, there's some things that we should care about and we should put intentionality into and heart into and passion into. And I totally agree with that. But there's so many things in our life, in my life particularly, that I'm thinking about that I put so much weight on and care into. And it's like, it just doesn't matter that much. It just doesn't matter as much as other things that are eternal, that are relationships with other people and our relationship with God. That is what's primary. And the last thing here is choose purposeful action over worry. If you're worried about something, if I'm worried about something, and you can make action steps towards remedying it in a sober-minded way, then do that. That's great. But if there's no further steps you can take and it's out of your control, then let it go. Give that to God. I mean, this echoes, honestly, the serenity prayer, which is, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, and the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. I want to hear from you guys. What part of this story has stuck with you and has made you maybe reconsider some ways that you've been living in your relationship, or how you can tap into much more sober-mindedness through the power of God in your life. Thanks for watching as always, and until next time, keep pursuing the mission.